Now I'm going to break down every single position in the game of football. Centre defensive midfielder, centre attacking midfielder, centre back, striker, fullback, winger. Every single position in possession, out of possession, and in transition. And we know that transition consists of offensive transition and defensive transition. So get ready to take notes, no matter what position you play in. If you're a centre defensive midfielder, yes, watch the centre defensive midfielder bit, but also watch the centre attacking midfielder bit. Watch the winger. Watch every single position. Understand every single role and responsibility that exists on the pitch. So then your game IQ goes from good to very good and then to elite. Because I'm telling you right now, 99% of players right now have a very good game IQ or a good IQ or an average IQ. They do not have the elite IQ. And this is where it begins. This is honestly the place where your game IQ will develop and elevate like it has never done before. Because the detail that I go into is detail like you've never seen before. So there's only one thing left to do now, and that is, let's get straight into it. Let's say you're playing a 4-3-3, whichever system you're playing in, confidence and courage applies to any system. So you must once again be willing to show for the ball. Your goalkeeper has the ball. As the goalkeeper plays it out to you here, you have already thought 2-3 steps ahead. That's another very important aspect. You're not thinking as the ball comes in and now you're looking up, waiting for options or looking for options and then you end up going long. There is no problem with going long if it's strategic. So if you want to play a long ball, that's fine, but there must be a plan where, let's say, the 8 has dropped in to draw a player out, the 9 has dropped in line with the ball, so then you can play it long. Maybe the 9 can hold up the play and then the number 8 supports and the fullback is there. But once again, that starts from you. So the root of everything that you do as a centre-back in possession is confidence and courage. Very, very important to understand. In these scenarios where the goalkeeper plays out to you, can you step with the ball? Look for an option. If you play the pass out to the fullback, you must understand that the winger will be pressing the fullback. The winger right here will be ready to jump onto the fullback. So what do? You drop off. Because you're confident, because you're courageous, because you're looking for the ball. When you drop off, the fullback plays it out to you. Now the striker would be pressing you. What do you do in this scenario? Can you find your number 8 in the pockets? For example, if the 8 is being pressed and the 8 has drawn this player out of position, the winger, can you break the line into the winger to take the ball on the half turn and play forward? That goes down to your technical ability, your ball playing ability. Can you break lines? Even better, can you look this way and then play these types of passes? Or even under pressure, are you confident to find your number 6 who can turn and play? It all goes down to you. It all goes down to your game understanding, to your decision making, and that starts from thinking 2-3 steps ahead. And now that's building out phase, right? It all goes down to confidence, as I said. It all goes down to courage. It goes down to also having the willingness to drop off. So the right side, for example, if you're the right sided centre back, you play the pass, drop off, because you need to be an option. If you stay where you are, now the fullback is under pressure, the striker is here, and the fullback and the winger is pressing the fullback. So if you don't drop off, you're out of the game. The number 10 will be marking the centre midfielder. That's not an option. So now what happens? So most likely the fullback will turn and try and play a ball down the line. But what you want to do instead is, and guess what, by the way, that is not a problem. But if it's just because you're not showing for the ball, that is a problem. Does that make sense? If the fullback has to play down the line because of the high pressure, because you have not showed for the ball by doing that, that is a problem. If you've dropped off and the fullback still goes long because there's another plan in place, that's fine. But if you are making the fullback go long unnecessarily, that is your fault. I really hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, just rewind it, watch that bit again. So when the fullback has the ball here, you drop off. If this striker follows you, the fullback can play the goalkeeper, play the other centre-back, knowing that the winger would be somewhere around here, and now we can build on the other side. So your positioning is important. The fact that you've dropped off puts the striker in a predicament. If the striker follows you, there's a pass into the goalkeeper, and then the goalkeeper can switch and play on the far side. If the striker stays, then you get the ball. Now you'll have pressure. Can you step? Can the fullback drive away from the? Can the fullback run away from the ball? And then there's space to break lines, to play forward passes. Here, you could clip the ball into your striker who can set somebody else, and then you guys can play out. And the clips you're about to see in this video are the clips from my full positions guide, where once again, I break down every single position in detail like you've never seen before. I'm talking about scenario-based positioning, scenario-based decision making, which honestly has not been spoken about enough, and I don't know why. But I am here to answer every single question that you have when you're out there playing the beautiful game. So let's get straight into it. As your fullback pushes up and takes the winger away, there's this space. If you can drop in, if this number 10 follows, look at this amount of space for your centre back to maybe find your number 9 who can set the number 8 who will support underneath, which we'll go through in the next video. And then your number 8 can play passes in behind with your fullback making a run forward to create these 2v1 situations. Once again, we discussed this in the previous video. So there's a lot of things that can happen. And once again, if you notice, you did not touch the ball, but your movement created that much space, because when you dropped off here and the 10 followed, there's that acre of space. Now, what is more likely in a game? Will this number 10 actually follow you, or will they stay and let you receive the ball? Well, guess what? Most often, that's the picture. That's what will happen. So when your fullback pushes up and drags the winger with them, like this, there's space. Your centre-back is looking for options. You just drift into this space, or your number 8 drifts in. But once again, we'll go through this in the next video. You drop off to this space. Now, the number 10 is a bit confused. Do I follow? Do I stay? Usually, they'll stay in and around here. You can receive the ball in this space, and now you can look for these types of passes into your number 9. If your number 8's movement is good, if your fullback really pushes up now, you've got the space to even find your number 9. And if the 9 drags a centre-back with them, well, once again, look at this much space for your 8, for your winger to run into, for that pass in behind. So it allows you to play very vertical, very direct football if the movement and timing is spot on. So let's just have a look at that again. As you peel out to this space, you receive the ball here. Now the 10 will press you. Now, once again, the winger is playing inside, and now you have the 8 here. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a diamond here, and the winger is playing in between the lines. So once again, who's going to step? If the fullback presses the winger, you, with your technical ability as a centre defensive midfielder, you are able to play these types of passes in behind for your fullback to run onto. Or if the fullback stays, you can find your winger in between the lines who can take the ball in the half turn. If this centre back steps, what can happen? You can play the number 9 in behind. There's so many opportunities for chance creation with this picture. As soon as the winger drifts in and the fullback goes up and the winger is forced to follow the fullback, now there's an issue, because yes, you're going to have pressure from the number 10, but you have opportunities to draw players out of position through short passes and then play that very dangerous pass in behind. Because in this scenario, you could play the winger with pressure from the fullback, you drop off, you receive the ball again, now you have extreme pressure. Once again, can we see the number 8 do the same movements that we've just discussed, which is drop off, receive the ball here, turn, switch, and now there's a 2v1 on the far side. So that movement where you receive the ball behind that line applies to a centre defensive midfielder, centre midfielder, and centre attacking midfielder. As your team have pushed up the pitch, now you have to really focus on finding this space here, this square between the centre mid, right midfielder, right back, and right sided centre back. If you're playing on the left sided pocket, if you're on the right sided pocket, it's the same thing. If you can really try and get the ball in those spaces, this is what I call no man's land, because as that ball goes in and you take the ball on the half turn, who's really marking you? Is it this player? Because then their winger's free. Is it the centre back? Because then the striker's free. Is it the centre midfielder? But that opens up space, right? So who's really marking you? Because if that happens, there's a direct pass into the striker, and then you can support underneath to receive a set, and now maybe there's a pass into your number 8 or into your centre defensive midfielder who's making a forward run into your winger as well. So you simply occupying this pocket of space creates problems. If this winger blocks off that pass, your fullback can really push up, receive the ball, and now you've created a 3v2. If your winger stays very wide, there's a space for you to receive the ball. Then if you can take your one touch forward here, you can create a foot race situation with the centre back, which is advantageous for you. If that pass can go in, and then one touch, you play it into that space and you run after it. That centre-back will have to run towards their goal, and they hate that. Centre-backs hate doing that. So by the time they're here, you can do another feint, you can do another body feint, you can do another dribble to create a yard of space, or if possible, from there you can shoot. Actually, from here you wouldn't shoot, it's the edge of the box. But with the tactics board, it looks like you could shoot from there. But from here you can create a cutback opportunity, a cross into the back post. You can create chaos in the final third. And that's down to you, your willingness to occupy the right spaces, then make those dynamic runs. Be very aggressive with the way you think. Can I make it count now? Can I make it count next action? Bam, bam, bam. That's how relentless your mindset has to be if you really want to be that game-changing number 10. So, when your team are building out from the back, you're trying to be an option from build-up. Now, you've got to understand that opposition most often wants you to get the ball because that's the pressing trigger, because the touchline is here, so you're very close to the touchline. So most opponents, most teams use this as one defender, and then the other defender, which is the winger, will press you in this way. So the point is that you're the pressing trigger. So that's why your positioning, your focus, your concentration has to be on point. So when, let's say, the centre-back has the ball, the goalkeeper plays the centre-back, you're that option to receive the ball. But can you think a couple steps ahead, a couple seconds fast? Because you've got to understand, as soon as you get the ball, this winger would be pressing you. So what are you going to do next? By the time you take a touch, you look forward, then you try and look back. There's a chance for the winger to win the ball, and then they are basically in a position to create problems for your team. So what you want to do instead is actually think 2-3 steps ahead. If the centre-back plays you the ball, if you've thought a couple seconds early, you could actually play the winger first time into this space and then make a run here to receive the ball and then drive forward. That's how you can beat the press as a fullback. So let's say the winger's here and the right back is there for the opposition, and you're trying to build out from the back. What you're going to do is, let's say the goalkeeper plays the centre-back, the striker would block off the pass from centre-back to centre-back. You're going to drop off a little bit, dropping deep, to really get this winger a distance to run. Really make this winger run a bit of a distance. If you're high, it's very easy for the winger to press. If you're slightly lower, there's more of a distance, and that buys you time, doesn't it? So as the ball goes in, by the time this winger is here, you've thought 2 steps ahead, you've played a one-touch pass, and then you're running on this side of the winger to receive a 1-2, and now you can drive forward. Where did the fullback go is here. Now you can drive forward. So your positioning, the timing of your movement is very important as well. So you could start high, then drop in as the ball goes from goalkeeper to centre-back. So you start here, and then as the ball goes here, this is the picture. There's more distance for the winger. As you get the ball, yes, you're going to have pressure. So if you take a touch, it can get a bit tight, a bit cagey. Can you do one touch, move into this space, receive the 1-2, and now drive forward? And now you've created a midfield overload. Opposition most likely will have 3 midfielders here, and now it's a 1-2-3-4 against a 1-2-3. If you drive forward in these scenarios, if this player decides to press you, then this player can get the ball, etc., etc. We're going to focus on that later on in this video. But the key point is positioning, the key point is movement and timing. If the opposition have shuffled across and you guys have built the play on this side of the pitch, and now there's a situation where your centre defensive midfielder receives the ball and is able to turn, they are looking for that. They aren't looking to play your feet. They can, because then your fullback can make an overlap, that's fine. But sometimes the whole point is, if they've really pushed up high, there is space in behind. So all you have to do is get ready to make that run. Be willing to make that run, receive the ball in this space, one big touch forward, and you could be in on goal. Or if the ball does come to your feet, then you have to buy time for your team to make forward runs, which opens up space for yourself. So for example, as the ball comes in, this fullback will be aggressively on you. So can you protect the ball with your safe-sided foot, which in this case is your right foot because you're playing on the left wing. If you can protect it in the duration, the fullback is making an overlap. Perhaps you set your number 8 who plays the fullback. And as that happens, you're aggressively making runs. The striker, and if this is you as the opposite winger, you're also hitting the box, being very aggressive. As soon as you play the set and you know that, okay, we're in on goal, you're hitting the box. Because in this scenario, as the opposition are retreating into a block, as the fullback progresses the play and they're still retreating, there is an opportunity for you to receive the ball, edge of the box here with a bit of time, and now you can have a shot on goal. You can slide in a pass into your striker or into number 8, or you can switch it again out to the winger. You can create problems if sometimes you hit the box as a late runner and you just stay in the penalty corner box. What? In the corner of the penalty box. You stay around here, and then receiving the ball, can you make things happen? Can you make it count? Can you be unpredictable in these situations? When you're defending as a number 8, you're locked on to your centre midfielder 3v3 in that central area. Your aim is to really dominate your zone and lock up your space, which means if this number 8 has also watched my video and stays high, what you do is stay. You stay to block off that pass. Now guess what? If we just said that as a number 8, you should be moving away. So if that happens to you here, right, and the opposition centre midfielder locks off you and you've really pushed up high, the centre back can still step, and all you're doing is shuffling to receive the ball in that space or in this space here. That's all you're doing. So you're moving behind this player in between the centre midfielder and the centre back. That's very important to understand. If this centre midfielder is disciplined, and this is what happens, where they can now press and the centre back is ready to press you, as I said, you can really drop in here because this wing is focused on the fullback. There's space here, there's space there to receive the ball. On the other side of this player, now you can drive, and then you can slide in your striker, your winger in behind. You can turn, pirouette, find your winger, find your other number 8 who's staying high in this pocket, and now once again there's that 2v1 on the wing. So that's just the bit to understand if this centre midfielder doesn't follow you, because if you stay away, then there's space for the centre back to drive. But also, if this centre midfielder stays, there isn't that much space for the centre back, but you can receive the ball in that space. So either way, you are creating space. You just have to interpret the game. So when the opposition have the ball and you're marking the centre midfielder in this scenario, if this centre midfielder moves away, you stay, blocking off the pass. Now, yes, this number 8 can do exactly what we said. So it's down to you to be checking your shoulders, and where it's possible, you put your foot in. If they try to play a pass, you're there to intercept. So let's say this number 8 does the same movement we just discussed and tries to receive the ball here. You've anticipated, you're checking your shoulder. Hopefully your back line are communicating with you as well, so everyone's working together. But the point is, you're checking your shoulder, you're aware of your surroundings, and then if you can intercept the pass and maybe play out to your winger is able to create a counter-attacking opportunity. And if this number 8 decides to drop in, you follow aggressively. Be very aggressive. If this centre-back tries to play the number 8 under pressure, do not let that number 8 turn. Very, very simple. Do not let them turn. Try and force them back. Try not to foul them as well. Just try force them back, because that's the trigger for your whole team to push up the pitch. If this 8 has dropped in and then the 9 is there and they play a ball over the top, what you need to do is immediately, as that ball goes in here, so as soon as the ball is here, you've immediately turned your hips, you're facing the ball because you want to battle for the second ball. So if the striker brings it down, you're there. Bite from the front, we call it. If you can bite from the front, you can win the ball, and then you can play forward. Very simple. You don't want to just say, okay, my centre-back is dealing with my striker, so I'm just going to stay around here just in case. No, if you can win it here, win it. Help your centre-back out. But that starts from you recognising that, okay, if they're going to play long, when my centre-back has dropped to head the ball will drop around here. Am I sharp with my centre defensive midfielder? Are we both alive and alert to win that second ball and then play? You have to make sure to block off the pass from centre-back to centre-back. Now, there's moments where your team have really retreated into a compact shape, and when the ball goes out to the full-back, what you must do is get back in. You don't want to stay here, because that allows the centre-back to receive the ball, and now they can switch onto the far side where there's a 3v2 opportunity. 1-2, 1-2-3, 3v2. You don't want to do that. So you must be aware. As soon as the ball goes wide, you're keeping your distances between yourself and your midfield compact and close and tight. You have to get back in to let that pass happen, not this pass. The pass from fullback to opposite centre-back is how they switch the play and is where the overload is. So you have to make sure that you stop that by realising that, okay, if I've pressed in a good way where they can't switch from centre-back to centre-back and now they've gone out here, I must get back in line with the ball to take this player out of the game, to let the pass go back, and then I press again. In the same way, we don't want to press like that so then they can transfer the ball, because that's the same thing. You want to make sure that as soon as the ball goes back, you're curving the run again. You're aggressively next to the centre-back and saying, okay, what are you going to do now? And by pressing them here, you're most likely going to force them long. If your centre-back can anticipate, win the header, your centre midfielders can win the second ball, now you're in a position to receive another pass. Can you hold up the play? Can you set, spin away? And now it's a counter-attacking opportunity. So you've turned defence into attack by being very strategic with the way you've pressed. You've been intelligent, you've pressed in the right way, and now when your team have dealt with the long ball and it falls to your centre midfielder who nods it on or flicks it onto you, because you're in line with the ball, you can just set, you can hold it up, or you can flick it in behind to forward runners as well. There's so many opportunities that can arise from you being disciplined with how you press, which means you let the ball go out wide by stopping the switch from centre-back to centre-back, and then you get back in. You must get back into that shape so the distances, look, it's not too much. If you're here, that's a massive distance. That can happen, or the centre defensive midfield can receive it. Yes, you're behind them now, but you can press them here, but they can easily switch the play. As I said, there's an overload on the far side. You must stop that switch from happening, because when you do that, now they are under pressure, you can actually create a counter-attacking opportunity. Just look at that domino effect. Very, very important that you understand that there is a domino effect if you can get that press absolutely spot on. My newly released full positions guide, where I break down every single position with the same detail that you've seen in my videos on Instagram, on TikTok, but now we're looking at an absolute full breakdown in possession, out of possession, in transition, offensive transition, defensive transition. So the centre defensive midfield position, centre attacking midfield position, centre midfielder, striker, centre back, full back and winger. Every single outfield position broken down like you've never seen it before. So watch this insight, really understand each and every single position, understand what this full positions guide is all about, and I'll see you on the other side.